Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Cincinnati Reds Draft to Glory Franchise Mode series. It's a mouthful of a title. Before we get into today's episode, I want to continue the trend of responding to a couple of comments at the beginning of the episode, because I really feel like it's not enough for me to just be like, yeah, I see them, screw it, I want to respond to them directly. So we start off with Ronnie Donnie 13. I don't see any point in showing the scouting. You know what, Ronnie? You're probably right. But to Pronger, it's not actually a fuck ton of editing. It's actually very, very simple. So don't worry about it in that regard. Zach McPhail, you only edited the lineup against right-handed pitchers. I know, as I kind of said, I started to edit it and said, fuck it, maybe the AI will be smart enough after we changed positions, with the third base and shortstop situation, and the AI wasn't smart enough, so that's my fault. Spectrum K8DX, Guillermo Ramos made the All-Star team. Don't be surprised if I constantly miss the fact that our players have made the All-Star team. Zach, just Zach, what a guy. The rotation's good enough already, or already good enough. I agree. Donald Bent, can I check those Rule 5 pitchers I missed out on? I don't remember where the hell they went, and I'm kind of too lazy to go back and check my own video. Let me know their names, and I'll go check. Icehawk, long-time viewer, one of the OGs. Maybe in a few seasons you can check up on the stats of that first baseman. What first baseman? Let me know. Pronger again. I don't mind seeing the scouting, and remember, longer videos equals more sense, or more AdSense. No, it doesn't, unless people watch it. You're paid primarily off of watch time, I do believe. So I could have a 6-hour video, but if people only watch 2 minutes of it, I'm screwed. Shell is pronounced jelly. Brett Schwartz, thank you. You're a lifesaver. Killer Socks, another long-time viewer. That Melendez thing, smart call. You needed at least another catcher and a good starting rotation already. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not meaning that. I'm just saying I'm zoning out, Socks. Thank you. I appreciate your support. And to Puck Nerd, Bloom's potential also went up. That dude's going to be dirty for the record. So did Shipman's. I actually didn't see that. So I think that might have been one of the worst draft classes I've seen in this game to date. Yeah, that's going to happen. I encourage you to go look at Jenkins, LA's third pick. All right, cool. So let's do that, actually, before we get going. Jenkins. Jesus. Yeah, nerd, you were right. I mean, he's only C potential, but he's MLB ready right now. That's wow. Okay, nerd, you know what? If I miss out on someone that badly again, could you not? I prefer to think that I did quite well, which, to be honest, we did. We did pretty well, actually. But yeah, now I feel worse. In fairness, I think Rincon was our third round pick, so, or if not, it was Leary. I still feel okay. That said, you guys know who was on the team, who we drafted last time out, which means it's time to go to the All-Star game. Let's do it. I've really been meaning to kind of handle comments like that more frequently. Just, it makes sense to. Like I said, I've always looked at the comments and everything, and I've responded to comments, but hell, why not feature them? Just so you can see exactly what the hell I'm responding to. Jesus Christ, that trade. What the hell is Baltimore thinking? They must be going for it to get rid of a 90 overall center fielder and a 77 closer at 23 years old. Baltimore. Now, I might not look like one to judge someone for the way they're setting up their roster right now, but I do feel kind of justified. I don't know what the hell that important message is, but I'm honestly kind of worried. Oh, it must be that someone's coming off the disabled list. Okay. Which, I mean, we're, not looking for those reports, so that makes sense. What we'll do in this episode here, of course, is get to the All-Star break. I might just hold off on simming to the end of the season. Maybe we'll just keep it live, especially, too, with the way we changed everything. We're able to sim quite quickly. No participant in the Home Run Derby, but we will have at least one All-Star representative. Maybe we'll take a look at our season stats at the end of the year as opposed to at the All-Star break. I mean, we did take a look at the end of the last episode. So who do we have? Sean Reed Foley. Good old Sean Reed Foley. Not ours, for the record. Who do we have? Will Vincent. Oh my God. Will Vincent is the man. Jesus. A potential, 86 overall at 22 years old. Say hello to our closer, hopefully for the entirety of this series. My God, Will Vincent. And as far as position players are concerned, did we have anybody? Michael Chavis. Michael. Oh my God. Michael, I don't know what the hell that reaction was. And I never want to hear it again. Michael Chavis, a potential now at 26 years old, 84 overall. Jesus. Way to go, buddy. 14 home runs, 59 RBIs, so he's already over last season's total with a 282 batting average. Jesus. Vlad Jr., Michael Chavis, one and the same. And Brian Lopez. Wow, we had 3 All-Stars this season. Brian Lopez is in a potential 82, 23 years old. Look at that development. 17 home runs, 47 RBIs. Jesus Christ. 18 stolen bases and a 279 average. This is ridiculous. Like, this team is coming together so nicely. I mean, the starting pitching, we have the talent there who might develop. The bullpen is still a little bit rough in spots, but we do have Will Vincent. And then that lineup. Glenn Huff's there. He's actually not doing that bad. But again, Bobby Bloom. How did Bobby Bloom not make it, by the way? Oh my God, I'm so excited. I am so excited for the rest of this series. That's what I love about any series like this, whether it's what I do with Draft to Glory. You look at people, and I mentioned this as well in my FIFA series, you look at people in the FIFA community, like Youth Squad Legends, someone like Cutsy, who, I mean, I love what he does. I do the same thing that he does. It's building a team from scratch and seeing these guys develop throughout their entire career. And it's those early stages where you just absolutely suck, but you start to see the names and faces that are going to hopefully lead you to great things. That I love it so much. I really do. As the AAA club only won 36 games, AA club won 25 out of 45. Okay. So minor league playoffs are about to begin. Let's just go ahead and sim to the postseason. Can we break 50 wins? It's looking unlikely, although we swept Milwaukee, and we do. Look at that. 54 and 108. I will take that. That is progress, damn it. That is solid. So the playoffs, you have Texas and Oakland. Winner plays Houston. White Sox play the Orioles, so smart move for Baltimore. San Diego and Atlanta. Philly and St. Louis play, and the winner faces Pittsburgh, who again, Pittsburgh have been in the playoffs, and if not in the final for the past 3 years. And there you go. The Pittsburgh Pirates' unbelievable run of dominance continues. They beat Houston in 7. Unreal. Let's take a look at the Pirates, who, in fairness, all I have to do is go over here. So again, Bryce Harper's still there, Xander Bogaerts, Francisco Miella, an old face from the Blue Jays series, Matt Olson, Stroman. Oh my God. Yeah, they're stacked. They are stacked. Not surprising to see them have the success that they did. Let's take a look here. Brian Lopez led the majors in stolen bases with 29. Solid. And in terms of awards, Mike Moustakas, World Series MVP, postseason MVP, Ben Gamel, and Manny Machado. I think that was their 4th straight year of making it to the World Series. MVP in general, Matt Olson and Mike Trout. Cy Young to Chris Stratton and Kevin Gausman. I've always been terrible with his name. I know I just mispronounced it. I'm sorry. Batting title to Brian Anderson and Dansby Swanson. No reliever of the year in the AL. Jacob Barnes wins it for the NL. Rookie of the Year, Brian Hayes and Ryan Weathers. Hank Aaron Award to Mike Trout and Bryce Harper. And then we get into the Gold Gloves and the Silver Slugers. So with that, again, 54-win season, not bad. Let's take a look at the team, shall we? Let's take a look at the team. So we'll start off with our starting pitchers. Alex Fado. I mean, he's up to an 82, which is nice. He's a legitimate 82. Good stuff. Not bad at all for a former Rule 5 pickup. I mean, 5 and 19 on the year, a 4.23 ERA. I mean, it's not great, but the development's there, right? The development is there. Logan Allen, another one of ours. Now 24, still with that B potential, up to a legitimate 79, so that's the good thing. Those all should be accurate. He's looking okay. 6 and 11 on the season, 4.04 ERA. Gustavo Gonzalez, up to a 79, still has that A potential. Nope, okay, so yeah, he is a 77, so they're not all going to be accurate. He had a pretty rough season, though, with a 5.56 ERA. Sam Wallace is a 77 at 23 years old. Some good development. A 5.41 ERA with a 7-15 record. Sean Jelly, the Jelly. Schmuckers, as we'll call him from now on. 78 overall at 24 years old. 3-18 record with a 5.25 ERA, but still, he's a nice option to have in that rotation right now. Roger Samuel up to a 71. Not too bad. Terrible season though. Only 25 innings pitched. Eduardo Herrera, also ours, up to a 67. 4.5 ERA, I believe, last year, though. Manel is not ours. Who was the... I think Derek Clifton is the only one we haven't seen, and we just drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe we're good. In terms of relievers, Durbin Feltman is a 78, not a 75, so that's helpful. Some development. Pretty rough season, though, unfortunately. Augustine Silva, down to a D potential. Oof. So yeah, he's not going to be around for long, which we kind of knew, but still. Who else do we have? John Johnson and Andreas Tavares, who I think should both be here. Are they? John Johnson right there, up to a 58. Had a pretty rough season, though. He's actually a 63. Where is Tavares? Am I mistaken? Oh, we must have just drafted him. Andreas Tavares. It's weird, he was at the top of my list for relievers, where I don't know why I would have put him there. And then for closers, Will Vincent, the All-Star, A potential, 86 overall, 22 years old. He is a monster. He had a pretty damn good season as well. Awesome. Has a couple of quirks. It's just great. Bruce Boyle, B potential, 74 overall, at 23 years old. He's actually a 76. Had a decent season, judging by the numbers. Guillermo Ramos, C potential, 73 at 21. Legit, 73. Wasn't that bad this season. A lot of work, though, for a reliever. Jesus. Just goes to show how bad our starters are. Richie Sorvala, up to a 71. He's actually a 75. And he was, let's go with meh. Villanueva is not ours. So for catchers, we still have MJ Melendez. He's a 78. Decent development across the board outside of speed and the -2 to power against lefties. Not great at the plate, though, which we kind of expected. Henry Shipman as well, C potential, 69 overall. Really good development this year. It's actually a 67. Hit 268 in 142 appearances. Not bad. Josh Rincon, of course, will be added to that. We got Glover and Bobby Bloom, and let's start off with Bobby Bloom. Oh, my God. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see how he develops. The -3 to power against lefties, but mostly everything else went up. 78 overall at 19 years old. He's actually a 76. 18 home runs, 69 RBI, a 302 average. So numbers dropped off a little bit, but the average went up big time for him. And the stolen bases. And then Will Glover is a 67. 69 overall. Good development for him. And a 257 average. Not that bad. It's second. Graham Edwards in his rookie year up to a 75. That's legit. Get a look at his quirks as well. Some good developments. 3 home runs, 23 RBIs, 18 stolen bases, only a 211 average, so it's going to take him a little bit to get to where we want him to be. Michael Chavis, another All-Star. 84 overall now. He's actually an 80. He's just playing at a phenomenally high level. 21 home runs, 86 RBIs, and a 273 average. Lee Wilkins is also ours, up to a 67. Some good developments. Pretty rough at the plate, though. Of course, we added Ramon Vasquez in this draft, so the infield is going to look ridiculous. We also have Keston Hiura, a 78. He's actually a 76. Some decent developments with a 241 average. 22 home runs for him. Wouldn't have thought that with the power game, but not too bad. The outfield, we have a lot of guys at this point. Brian Lopez, a potential 81 at 23. Crazy development, especially in the contact game. 24 home runs, 73 RBIs, 29 stolen bases, the league high with a 264 average. Josh Stowers as well is an 80. Some decent development, 265 average on the season. Ray Rosario up to a 76. That is legit. Some decent development, a 251 average, 10 stolen bases on the year. Carmen Avila is also ours, but obviously not going to be someone that gets to hang around long term. And Juan Calzado, kind of the same thing, just at a D potential. He's got his limit as a AAA option at best. At center, we have Glenn Huff, B potential, 70 overall at 20 years old. Some decent development. 243 average, though, on the season with 45 RBIs and 25 stolen bases, only a 68. In right, Steven Ryder, up to an 80. He's a 78, actually. Contact against lefties took a pretty big hit, but it's well-rounded at this point. 18 home runs, 76 RBIs, and a 271 average. Damian Montag, still ours, but with a D potential, doesn't really matter. We also have May, Leary, and Williams, all of whom we just drafted. So there you go. There is your complete recap on what happened this season, the player stats, everything that's gone down, as we do lose a couple of players to retirement. Nobody here, though, appears to be anybody that we care about. So that's good. We didn't lose anybody. Miguel Cabrera retires with Detroit. Hell of a career for him. So let's take a look as far as reviewing staff goes. We have everyone taken care of, so we can go ahead and move forward. Yes, stop simulating. Actually, that was a lie. Move forward. So in terms of the big-time free agents, Benintendi, Bregman, Wilson Contreras, Blake Snell, Barrios, Jamison Tyon, quite a few good options. So give me a moment. I am going to clean up this roster a bit before we look to move forward. All right, the roster is cleaned up. Let's go ahead and re-sign those who need to be re-signed. We'll start off with Brian Lopez, who's going to be getting a pretty damn good contract. We're going to go 3 years at $6 million per for the All-Star. Josh Stowers is an interesting one, where, of course, we don't want to lose him for nothing, but that outfield is getting crowded. But we'll still drop that down to $3.1 million over 3 years. Sam Wallace as well. Someone else we need to look to re-sign. Let's go 3 years at 5.6. That is a drastic overpayment, but we need him at this point. Durbin Feltman. Not bad to keep a Rule 5 option around. We'll go $2 million over 3 years. Bruce Boyle. We're going to go $2.8 million over 3 years. Richie Sorvala. Let's go 1.5 over 3. I want to talk about overpayment. Will Glover. Backup first baseman. He's going to be pissed for a long time. I'm going to go $700K over 4 years because we're still getting a pretty damn good discount on him. And Lee Wilkins, same thing. We'll give him a decent amount because he'll probably still be on the roster for a decent amount of time. In terms of the other contracts, Graham Edwards, let's go 2 years at 1.5. To be honest, it might not be the worst idea to give him more, just for the fact that he's going to be worth it sooner rather than later. Sean Jelly will sign up. I hope that is actually how you say his name. Samwell will go 1 year at $650. Let's go $650. Hopefully he signs it. Augustine Silva. Let's go 2 years at $600. Glenn Huff. Let's go 2 years at $600. Carmen Avila. Now, I was just thinking this too as I was setting up the roster and, getting rid of guys that we don't need. I can't help but think this upcoming season will be the first time where I'm actually going to have to set up the roster and make sure that we're good to go, as far as it being the roster that I want it to be, making sure that our guys are in the lineup and are able to get the playing time that they need, whether at the Major League level or AAA. So we have until November 23rd. Try and make sure that we sign everybody. Mitch Haniger, Alex Bregman's gone. Barrios, Tim Anderson, Dellin Betances. So it's just Lopez, Feltman, and Wilkins that we're waiting on there. Clevenger signs. All right, they're all taken care of. Now we're just waiting for Silva, Calzado, and John Johnson. Aside from that, we're good to go. Billy Hamilton to Cleveland, Benintendi to Seattle, Kyle Freeland to the Pirates, Sean Manaea to the Tigers. Calzado and Johnson. Boys, hurry up and sign. I have until December 2nd. And I'm damn well going to take it. Salmon. Okay. No offers. Really? Oh, shit. I guess I'm glad I checked. Yeah, I guess they were far enough down the list that I might not have sent them offers. Well, at least we caught it. Let's go 2 years at 600. I imagine both will sign fairly quickly. David Dahl to the Brewers. Hayward to the Dodgers. Just waiting on old John Johnson. Johnny boy, you're going to want to sign. John. Let's not do anything dumb now. $650 a year. It's more than you're going to get anywhere else. John, don't be stupid. John Johnson. That's why his mother named him that, because she just wanted to repeat her name and his name when she was mad. Okay, we're good. We're good. To the Rule 5 we go. So we're going to add another pitcher and position player into the mix. We've done very well with the Rule 5 thus far. I'm intrigued to see who we'll add today, as we still get the number 1 pick. Last year was the controversy over starters. Let's see who's here. And speaking of starters, Mason Denneberg. I know you might be saying Anderson Espinoza, but he's only 1 overall point better, and Denberg's 2 years younger. So by far, if we're taking a starter, it should be Mason Denneberg, although Francisco Morales is also there as a backup option. So 2 really good starters available here in this draft. Luis Patino is also a half-decent option. There's a lot of starters available. I'm just double-checking. Let's just double-check through the entire list. Due diligence here. But yeah, I think we're good. I was waiting for an A potential, but it's all right. So we know that we have some good starters. Relievers, not really. Not really anybody that we're looking for here. So if we're taking a pitcher, I think it's going to be a starter. In terms of closers, not anybody either. So this is definitely a starting... Well, Pablo Montero isn't that bad. You could just play him as a normal reliever. But I think just the talent level is so stacked for starters. That's where we're going to be looking. So let's take a look at position player-wise. Sean Murphy, I mean, he's 28. So, no. Even if he is probably a slightly better bat. Viloria, absolutely not. Definitely not the right draft for a catcher with MJ Melendez here at first base. I mean, we're fine. There isn't anybody there that I'd want anyway. At second, Jahmai Jones isn't terrible, but not someone we'd look to take early on. At third, Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones isn't that bad. Nolan Jones is pretty good, actually. That could be worth it. So 24B and a 76. 23B and a 73 for Xavier Edwards. Okay, so Nolan Jones or Edwards right now would probably have my vote. Taylor Trammell, Lazaro Armenteros. Okay, so third, short, and another outfielder potentially. At least we have options. And then in right. Okay, so no doubt, first guy we're going to be taking here is Mason Denneberg. A little bit worried about the stamina, but I think we'll be okay. Morales isn't that much better. We're going to be adding Denneberg to this starting rotation. So we're going to have some competition there at least. Ruiz is off the board. I don't think Ruiz is even the third baseman that I wanted, was he? He was not. Nolan Jones is still there. Now, we do have competition within the infield, but we also have competition within the outfield. So 24B and a 76, 23B and a 73 for Xavier Edwards, who I wish he had a little bit more speed. And then outfield-wise, again, with Lopez, Stowers, Rosario, Ryder. We already have Huff coming up. I think we're probably good. It's either Armenteros as an outfield option, or it's Nolan Jones. And I think I'm going to go for Nolan Jones, just for the fact that as a bat, coming off of the bench even, he could be solid. So I think those are our two picks. We go for Mason Denneberg and Nolan Jones. Of course, we just drafted Ramon Vasquez, a third baseman, but we do have the ability to move players around if needed. So there we go. Another fairly successful Rule 5. I'm intrigued to see how the roster ends up panning out. I'll actually see you guys at the beginning of spring training. I'm going to sort out the roster. We'll see if there are any better scouts to hire, and then we'll jump to the draft. I think we'll skip through any potential, going through the first few months while we set up the draft. We'll just get right to the chase. All right, we are good to go. The roster is set. That said, at the beginning of spring training, there weren't any better scouts to hire, so we are still with the same 4, that being Matthews, Yamazaki, Buckley, and Guardado. As far as the roster is concerned, this is what we're starting off with. Alex Fido as the ace, Sean Gelly, Logan Allen, Mason Denneberg, and Sam Wallace, with Gustavo Gonzalez as the long reliever. We have Durbin Feltman, Bruce Boyle, Guillermo Ramos, Augustine Silva as relievers, Sorvala as the setup man, and Will Vincent as the closer. So we're looking pretty good there. AAA-wise, I'm going to tinker with this a little bit. I want to see what the AI recommends and to make sure that if we have anybody else that needs to make sure, that needs to get that playing time, we can make sure that they do. Easy for me to say. As far as the lineup is concerned as well, not a guarantee that this is what it's going to be, but it is pretty similar with Stowers in left, Graham Edwards, Bobby Bloom, Brian Lopez, Nolan Jones, Steven Ryder, Michael Chavis, Keston Hiura, and MJ Melendez, with Lee Wilkins, Will Glover, Henry Shipman, and Ray Rosario on the bench. So in AAA, we'll see guys like Josh Rincon, who we just drafted, Ramon Vasquez, Avia Calzado, Glenn Huff. I'm intrigued to see what this roster ends up looking like and how these teams do. If it turns out that we're looking to be a tad bit more competitive than I expected, I will return to the sim in progress. Otherwise, I'll see you at the draft. We'll do the midseason update on the stats, and then we'll get into it. With the draft, that is. Right, so here we are. Draft day is upon us. I think I'm going to save the regular season stat update for afterwards, so we can just get right into it. It's normally the main event of every episode. Now it'll be the, hey, you can watch us, and then if you don't care for the stats, you can just skip the end of the video, but make sure to leave a like anyway. Yeah, shit. Let's do this. Draft day is here. Let's see what happens. And we start off with Stephen Papp. Stephen Papp. He's 2 years away at 20 years old, and he's ridiculous. Outside of the walks, he is ridiculous. So yeah, he could be worth it. Maurice Vaughn is also ridiculous, but not quite to the same extent. With the walks, velocity, and the home runs per 9. Yeah, I think I like Stephen Papp more. Jose Ramos is 3 years away at 20 years old. Jesus, that contact. The power is pretty solid, too. Vision discipline's okay. Fielding, he's pretty damn good, too. So between Ramos and Papp, we're looking all right. Orlando Adams is too old. Steve Carrasco, not bad. The 60 and the 50, but that's not bad. So between Papp, Carrasco, and Ramos, we're looking okay so far. Here, you know what? Let me just keep track of who we're dealing with here, because it's tough to remember so many good names. Israel Castillo, not bad, but not first overall pick worthy. I think that goes without saying. Stephen Booth. Actually, let me take a look at Castillo again. Yeah, too many 60s. Stephen Booth. Decent contact. Power, vision, discipline. Yeah, not quite. Not a number 1 overall pick. Tino Diaz. Really good contact. Okay contact. Power. Not bad, but again, not a number 1 overall selection. Reggie Jackson. I wish. Robbie Hansen's 21, 4+ years away. I don't really trust it. Yeah, those stats, high injury risk too. Yeah, get out of here. Those stats would have to be through the roof for me to risk it. Xavier Marine, or Marin, I imagine it would be. Too many 60s. Not bad. Like, if we could get him in the second round, that'd be great. But if he was blue chip, I'd take him, but he's not. Vernon Ramos, no thank you. Rusty Frank. Oh my god. High injury risk. I don't care if you're blue chip. Those stats aren't good enough, and you have high injury risk. Screw that. I'm sorry, your name's amazing. Steven Nishii. Steven Nishii. Not good enough to be the number 1. Velocity, control, hits per 9. They're a little bit too low compared to some of the other guys. Granted, I don't think... Was Carrasco blue chip? He was. So yeah, Carrasco's definitely better. Omar Cruz, we want to take a look at Diego Ayala. Let's take a look at old Diego here. Good decent to plate, good contact, pretty well-rounded, not number 1 pick worthy. Diego Medeiros. Jesus, that contact, that vision, that discipline. Okay. He's 20 and 4 or more years away, but that contact, the vision, like his ability at the plate's amazing. What about Bobby Grace? Not quite. Plate ability's not quite there for us. We don't know enough about Roger Kimbrough, which could be a mistake. David Eagle, not quite. Bryant K is looking really good. Not number 1 pick worthy, but that contact, the vision, the discipline, the speed, he would be an amazing second round pick if he falls that far. I just don't know if we can say he's number 1 pick worthy. He might be, though. Obviously, the scary thought is that he doesn't have 80 listed potential. Trent Watt, also not bad. Pretty well-rounded. We'll keep track of him as well. Put him into that secondary category. Rico Acevedo. Not terrible. It is kind of the one thing that's still a bit weak on the team is our bullpen. Charlie Crouch, we don't know enough about you. What about Dwight Connor? No. No, just really good speed and stealing. Nothing else too crazy there. Frank Lugo's not good enough. Johnny Humphrey is not bad, but not great. Ray Ordonez will avoid. What else do we have here? Chad Bennett. Absolutely not. Tino Salinas. Not bad. Not bad. Late, second, third round pick. Could be pretty good. Could be pretty good. Brian Fernandez will avoid. Miguel Montoya is 3 years away. And unfortunately, some of those stats are a bit too low. What about Geraldo Armas? Nah. He's okay. It's not bad. He's okay. Right now, the depth in this draft is looking a little bit weak here. Randall Jones. Also not great, but not bad, I suppose. And then we're down into the 70s. So the only guy I'd consider taking from the 75 range would have been Bryant K. But we're not going to do that. Hopefully he's there in the second round. So from there, it's down to Diego Medeiros, who, god damn it, it's not as if we need another first baseman, but that contact, vision, and discipline is tantalizing. We also have Steve Carrasco, which, he's a blue chipper at 18. He certainly needs work. He's going to be a lower overall, but should have that A potential. So we can take a heavy-hitting first baseman, a project starter, a fairly heavy-hitting outfielder in Ramos. Honestly, Ramos is looking pretty good. Or we take another bullpen gem in Stephen Papp, who's the type of guy that you would hope would be there later on. He's 20. He's 2 years away. But looks like he's already pretty good now, aside from the walks. So we either take a near-ready closer, a could-be potentially near-ready outfielder, a project starter, or the first baseman. And we're at that interesting point in the series now where it's like, do we go for best available, or do we try to draft for need? Now, the one thing about Ramos that I'm worried about is I think the hitting is going to be solid, but everything else is going to be really low because of that ETA being 3 years from now. So that's the one thing that kind of scares me about him. Whereas with Medeiros, he's 4+ years away. So he looks heavy hitting as well, but everything else looks like it could be quite low in terms of ratings. So I think that brings us to Carrasco, who we know is more of a project, or Stephen Papp. Which, again, we could get that immediate bullpen help, or we can get a project starter who could be a future ace down the road. Only has 3 pitches. We could edit that if we wanted to. I'm going to go with Carrasco, because we do have Will Vincent in the bullpen, and that could be a problem in the future where Papp demands to be the closer, but Vincent's already there. So this is... he has to be a potential for this to work. But he is listed as a blue chip. We're going to take the project starter, Steve Carrasco, with the number 1 pick. Stephen Papp went second to the Angels. So if it wasn't for Will Vincent, I wouldn't have taken him. Jesus Christ, that competitive balance round was long. Holy shit. All right. Well, we're in round 2. And only 14 teams get to pick. Oh my god. So Stephen Booth, I didn't have listed down as someone worth looking at. Johnny Humphrey, I didn't. Bryant K is still there. Yes. Yes, ma'am. That is immediately the pick. We will take Bryant K happily. And now I'm feeling much better about this draft as we get a pick in competitive balance round B. Stephen Booth is still there, who again is well-rounded. And to be honest, isn't all that bad. He might be the next pick here as a center fielder, not that we need another outfielder. Dwight Connor, Booth is better. Connor really has the speed as his main focal point of his game. To be honest, shit, I just need to start sorting by accuracy here, don't I? There's that few left. Wow, there's that few left that we have info on. Daniel Saucedo. It's not that bad. Good arm strength. Napoleon Gillis. Great name. Not quite worth it. He's okay. Chris. Would that be Kasizik? Kasizik? Honestly, not that bad either. I think Stephen Booth is the guy. Let's take Stephen Booth, and then we'll see if anyone else is available. Hopefully that closer, although I doubt it. Let's take a look, though. And yeah, so we'll take Napoleon Gillis here, more than likely. Yeah, just to see if we have something there as a bullpen option. This has been a really weird draft, too. I felt this was one of those lead-ups where I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really feel like we've scouted out that many people. That was apparently the case. So in terms of younger options, now it's just take a risk and hope you get lucky. So we'll be selecting between 18-year-old players, I guess, and this is normally my favorite time to just take relievers and hopefully get lucky. We do need some relief help, starting-wise, not as much. So we have, actually here, let's just go outright to relievers. We have these 5. Who has the best name? I mean, it's got to be Jack Burden, right? Let's go for Jack Burden. Great name. Great name. We've made it through this draft relatively quickly, too, which is kind of nice. And again, I think we'll take another chance with the reliever. Marshall Cruz, Juan Hernandez, or Guillermo Fiera. Right. The 18-year-old, of course, well, 6'4", 5'10", 5'11", 203 pounds, out of the Netherlands. Let's go for, I don't even know. Maybe take a starter. Cliff Davis. Or Cedric Graham. Let's take the Jamaican. Cedric Graham. Why not? That's what this pitching staff was missing, damn it. A Jamaican. And we go to the 6th round. You still have Omar Abreu, which I don't think I really trust. I mean, again, you can't really trust any of this. Maybe we'll take that closer. Yeah, let's take the closer, Jimmy Grace. And we'll see what happens there. So, in terms of scouting, we didn't have a whole hell of a lot of luck, unfortunately. But I'm still feeling relatively confident about how we did. Let's find out. And that's not terrible. Steve Carrasco, 18 years old, A potential, 62. I would have bet the house he was going to be in the 50s. So that is a massive, massive win to get Steve Carrasco. He could, like I mentioned, he could be that ace that we need. Steve Carrasco, you look great. You look great, Steve. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, 62 overall to start. Now, here's the thing with Bryant K. A C potential, but could he be similar to the guy that we looked at the beginning of the episode? Kind of. 18 years old, 79 overall, so or 79 potential. I wish 79 overall. So he does have C potential, but at 18, he's a 68, and my God, he's going to be so useful to us as a pinch runner, at the very least. So, not the best bunter, but yeah, Bryant K. absolutely has a spot on this team. Whether or not he was the best option to select at that point in the draft, I don't know. It looked like it to me. I thought he was going to be a better bat than he ended up being, but he is rapid, so that's going to come in handy. Stephen Booth is an interesting one, where he's 20 years old, has that B potential, but he's a 55, and everything else outside of his arm and speed is highly questionable. Whether or not he ever develops, I'm not sure. But the good thing is we have the outfield spots within the organization to find out. Napoleon Gillis is honestly pretty damn good. B potential, 21 years old, and thankfully at least a 71. So I'm not that upset about any of our selections thus far. I think our first 4, we've done extremely well. Now, whether or not, hello, that's right, I record at 5:19 in the morning. What of it? I'm sorry. Tukey exposed as a massive fucking loser who records at 5 in the morning. I do. You know why? Because I had night jobs straight out of high school and I can't fix the schedule and it's much quieter in my neighborhood at night. And it's easier, damn it. Now, anyone who, follows me for a while knows that, oh yeah, shit, Tukey's pretty much nocturnal. Yeah, I am. Napoleon Gillis will be signed for obvious reasons. Jack Burden, not bad. As a random shot in the dark, 18 years old, 54 overall, C potential. We will absolutely give Jack Burden the opportunity. Let me just mark him down on the team. Cedric Graham and Jimmy Grace will both be signed for the moment, just because they're worth having down in the minors for now. Why the hell not, right? Why the hell not? So we had at least a little bit of better depth in terms of the terms of the minor leagues. So overall, I feel like that was a really solid draft. Like Robbie Hansen was available. I'm mainly going to look at players in the first round. If you see anybody later on, again, as always, that you want to know info on, let me know. Like Israel Castillo would have been okay. I have not seen anybody who's been even close to rivaling Steve Carrasco for that number 1 pick. Bill Brandano's an interesting one, but he's 23, and Palmeiro's 41. Jesus. What about Geronimo? A little bit better. Bobby Grace. Yeah, glad we avoided him. Craig Bates, Dustin McCauley. You know, it's looking like we yet again took the best available. Diego Ayala ended up being a 45. Bobby Mueller was there. Tino Diaz. Yeah, I'm more than happy with who we took. Nishii. Wow, okay. We could have taken somebody better. He's 19 and a 64. So we'll see if Carrasco at 19 is as good as Nishii is. They both have a potential. His is actually slightly higher. So there is a little bit of a debate there. David Engel, long way to go. There is a little bit of a debate there as to whether or not I took the right guy at the time. Maurice Vaughn's going to be a great closer. Vernon Ramos, thank God we didn't take him. Stephen Papp, I mean, you knew he was going to be good, but like I said, with Will Vincent emerging the way he has. Xavier Marine, ooh. Oh boy, maybe we did screw up. He's 20, but a 70 already. Will Carrasco be a 70 in 2 years? Time will tell. And Rusty Frank's got a long way to go, but a great mustache. So, overall, Medeiros was a 96, 61 overall at 20 years old. There is room for debate as to whether or not, and Jose Ramos was only an 88 potential. There was room for debate as to whether or not I chose the right guy at number 1 with Steve Carrasco. I feel good about that pick. I feel good about our draft in its entirety. But I want to know what you guys think, of course. Did we done goof? Now, in terms of top prospects, because we didn't look at this at the start of the year, and I actually haven't looked at this at all, do we have anybody? The answer appears to be no. Wow, we don't. I disagree with that. Let's take a look at how the team's done this year. So, Fido, 3-5 record with a 4.15 ERA. Not terrible. Sean Jelly, 3.43 ERA. Also not bad. Logan Allen's under a 3, which is great. Denneberg, not exactly killing it. Sam Wallace, not exactly killing it. Gustavo Gonzalez, as our long reliever, has been kind of meh. Durbin Feltman, kind of meh. Bruce Boyle's been pretty good. Guillermo Ramos has been pretty good. Silva has been awful. Sorvala's been pretty bad, and Will Vincent might not be an all-star this year. Down in the minors, Roger Samuel, not exactly killing it. Eduardo Herrera is one of our projects. He's doing okay. Andreas Tavares. And then, of course, we have other options as well, including Derek Clifton, who's getting destroyed in Double-A. Lineup-wise, Josh Stowers has been pretty bad this season with a 223 average. Graham Edwards hitting under 200. Bobby Bloom, though, might be an all-star. 6 home runs, 29 RBIs with a 306 average. Brian Lopez, 624 with a 238. Nolan Jones, down to a 73. Not happy about what he's getting paid. 3 home runs, 18 RBIs, and a 247. Ryder, not exactly killing it. Michael Chavis, not exactly killing it. Kiyora's doing well. And Melendez is having a pretty damn good season by his standards. Lee Wilkins, Will Glover, Henry Shipman, really everybody else that hasn't gotten that much average playing time is doing okay. It's unfortunate. Our team's underperforming, but it is what it is. Now, Ramon Vasquez has been playing, but not a ton. We actually just had somebody come back from injury, so I'm going to go ahead and put him back in as the starting third baseman. Actually, nope, in fairness, it changed it a while ago. Never mind, he's only had 24 at-bats. All right, I must have slipped up. There must have been another injury. Of course, I don't have the injury alerts on, so I'm still trying to make sure he gets playing time, but that might happen, unfortunately. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed in how our team's done. We only have 19 wins on the season. We hit 54 last year. We're underperforming, for sure. But obviously, the signs of progress are there. I mean, we went from 63 wins to 34, 30, 44, 54. I would hope we can get back up to 50 wins this season. especially with the roster looking the best it's ever looked, really. We just have a ton of underperforming players. I mean, playoffs aren't really a consideration, but, just to see that natural progression. That said, we are done here. As always, I thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below, of course, if you want to see anything that I didn't exactly showcase, any and all suggestions, feedback, whatever else, even if you just want to say hi, let me know down in those comments below. You also know the deal. Support the video, because, not interacting with the video apparently means YouTube's just not going to tell you about when I upload. So the whole liking, subscribings, and the notification bell and all that fun stuff, you get the deal. Thank you for watching. I love you all, especially you. I'm trying to think of a name. Let's go with Roger. Are there any Rogers out there? Me and my best bud, Roger. I'll see you guys next time.